Hello dear creatives, welcome to my channel. This is Classy by Mavi and I'm Mavis. So in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to draft a basic pencil skirt. Okay, this basic pencil skirt pattern can actually be used for any body type. So just follow suit. Let's draft it together. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, you want to get your measurements. The measurements you'll be needing: you need your waist circumference measurements, you need your hip circumference, you need your knee circumference, and then you need your waist to hip, which is your hip rise, and then waist to knee. So these are the measurements you'll be needing. My hip circumference is 42 inches. Okay, it's 42 inches. So to get the skirt block, you'll be dividing your hip circumference into 2. So 42 divided by 2 gives 21 inches. So I'll be marking 21 inches straight like this. But before then, I want to step down from this pattern paper by 1 inch. So I'll be having excess on the upper part of the drafting. So stepping down by 1 inch, I'll insert a line which will serve as my waistline. Okay, so I'm trying to be as straight as I can. So this is my waistline. So I want to separate the front waist from the back waist now. Okay, but before I even do the separation, I want to mark the 21 inches on this line. Okay, mind you, 42 is my hip circumference, divided by 2 gives me 21. So I am marking the 21 inches now. So I've done that. I have marked the 21 inches. The next thing I want to do, I'll be dividing 21 into 2, which is 10.5. Okay, 10.5. So that means for my front pattern, I have 10.5. For my back pattern, I have 10.5. Now I'll measure waist to hip. For this basic skirt pattern, you are measuring your waist to hip from your navel. Okay, so this waist is our navel area. Okay, so you measure from there to your hip. For me, that measurement is 8 inches. So waist to hip is 8. So I have marked that here, and I'll also come over here and mark the same measurements, waist to hip 8, and then I'll link with my long ruler. Okay, now on this hip line, this is now our hip line because we got this line by measuring from our waist to our hip. So we'll also be dividing our hip line into 2, separating the back from the front. Mind you, it is 10.5 that we use to separate the waistline front and back. So we'll do the same thing on the hip line, and now we'll link. Next, we'll be inserting the measurements of waist to knee measurements. So my waist to knee measurement is 19 inches. If you are wondering how to know this measurement, this is it. Just listen. You measure from your waist to your kneecap and then go up by 2 inches. Okay, you are not inserting this line on your actual kneecap, but you have to go up by 2 inches from your actual kneecap. My actual kneecap waist to knee is 21, so I went up by 2 to get my 19 inches. Okay, so we also have our knee line. We'll separate back and front knee line also by inserting our 10.5 measurements once again. Now this 10.5 at the back will be confirmed, and then we have our center back line also. Okay, so I'll be linking the points I just marked now. So let's label some of the lines so you don't get confused. This is our center back line, our center back CB, and here is our center front CF. So these are our sides, side back and side front, okay? And as you already know, this is our hip line, our hip line. Here is our waistline, and here we have our knee line. Mind you, our knee line is not our full length, it's just our knee line, okay? Now the next thing I want to do, I want to determine the full length of this my pencil skirt. So if we have 19 as our knee point, I'll go down a little and make 27 or 28 our full length. The full length of the skirt is 28. You can go as long as you wish. Okay, you can go as long as you want. You can actually make this a long skirt. You can make it a short skirt. You can do anything with it. Okay, so we have gotten also our full length. Our full length too will now be divided into the 10.5 and 21 on this side. Okay, let me confirm this. The shape is looking somehow. Should be here. There was an error. Okay, so I've corrected it, and our full length line is now straight. I corrected the error and the full length line is now straight. Okay, so we have gotten all the points. Let's now start our drafting. The first thing you want to do is to insert your waist circumference measurements divided by 4. And waist circumference is 30 inches. Dividing 30 by 4 gives me 7.5. So you first of all mark your 7.5 this way, and then you add 1 inch for that intake. Okay, now this is it. Next, you move on to your hip line. For the hip line, we already have our hip circumference divided by 4 here, which is 10.5. Now to link the hip to the waistline, you'll be going up by 2 inches here, or 1.5. Let's do 1.5, which comes out more accurate from my experience. So you go up by 1.5 and go down by 1.5. Okay, we'll be using this one soon, but first let's use this. We are linking this point now to this point on the waistline using a hip curve. I have this my small pattern master here, which will be serving as my hip curve. And you see how beautiful that is. Next, you come down here and do your knee tightening. Now your knee tightening will determine how tight you want your pencil skirt to be, how tight fitted you want the pencil skirt to be. Okay, so for me, I do not want it extra tight, but I still want it pencil and beautiful. So I'll be working with 1.5 knee tightening. So for the front, I'm tightening by 1.5 here. I haven't marked 1.5. I will be linking it back to this point. Remember, we dropped from the hip line by 1.5, which brought us here. Okay, so I'll be linking this line to this line. I mean, this point to this point. Okay, still using my hip curve. You can actually use your straight ruler and do your blending if you are not used to using curves, because there is a way you use this curve, the old pattern will appear funny. And you see, it's very nice. Next, you move on to the full length. For the full length, since you have tightened the knee by 1.5, you tighten the full length by 2 to give you that nice pencil shape. So having marked that, you will use your straight ruler now to link, okay, to the knee line. Have you seen this? We have our pencil skirt, the front pattern complete. Let's now move on to the back pattern. For the back, you also insert your waist circumference divided by 4 on your waistline. So waist circumference divided by 4 is 7.5. So you are marking it here. After marking it here, you add 1 inch for the dart intake. After marking that dart intake, you link it to this point of the hip line. Okay, this point you marked while you were doing the front, going up by 1.5. Okay, so we are linking it to the waistline. Okay. Next, you go to your knee length. So this is where we'll see a slight difference from the front. Now for the back, we are not tightening the back the same way we did the front, the back knee tightening. Although we are still using 1.5, but we'll be sharing this 1.5 across. Okay, because as you already know, our shape at the back and that of the front are different. So we divide 1.5 into 2, which is 3/4 inch. So we'll take away 3/4 inch from the side back and 3/4 inch from the center back. Okay, so I'm simply marking 3/4 here. Come over here and also mark 3/4. Have you seen? And then I'll link back just the same way I linked this. I linked from here to here. I'll do the same thing. Mind you, you can use a straight ruler and later blend out, or you can use your curved ruler at once. Then for this center back, before I will link to this part, I'll also do the same thing I did here. I'll go up by 1.5 and drop down by 1.5. Okay, and then I will link this to this. Can you see the shape we have now? So we'll now come to the full length also and tighten the full length the same way. For the front, we tighten the full length from the side front 2 inches. But this time around, we'll be distributing the 2 inches across once again, the side back and the center back. So for the side back, we have 1 inch, and for the center back, we also have 1 inch. So I'm simply marking 1 inch here and then 1 inch here. And then we'll be linking straight to the knee line like this and like this. Can you see our beautiful pattern? Now For this, we are coming back to the waistline. We'll be doing our waist shaping. But before we do the waist shaping, I want to do the back tightening. Okay? So the back tightening is the effect that will make your zipper lie very flat on your back without protruding or raising up. So in that case, you are tightening by 1/2 inch from the waistline, the center back. From the center back on the waistline, you mark 1/2 inch, which brings us here. And then you will link this point to these points, okay? With a straight ruler like this. Have you seen that? So for the waist shaping, we'll start with the sides. You have to go up from the side back by 1/2 inch and link back. And then you are raising the side front too by 1/2 inch and link back. Okay, so before we now blend this into our waistline, we will have to do our darting, our dart intake. So to get your dart intake, you'll be tracing the midpoint of your waistline. Okay, to trace the midpoint of your waistline, you just measure to the waistline. You just measure the entire waistline, including this intake. You measure from here, from the center to the side, including the dart intake, right? You just measure everything and flip your tape over like this, then mark the midpoints. This is a pattern I've been using for over 3 years now, and it has been very perfect. Now, after doing that, for the back dart leg, you drop down by 6.5 inches. This is a choice if you are working with the dart on your skirt or you are eliminating the dart. Okay, so after you drop down, you have to confirm if the line will be straight. So you will come here and measure what you have. This is 4 3/4. So this is 4 3/4 is somewhere here. You have to link. I have confirmed, and then I am linking. So we have our straight line there, and we now mark 1/2 inch on both sides of this dart leg like this, and link back to the points like this and like this. Now this is the points we are now going to link to these 1/2 inch points that we used in raising the side. Okay, so you link from this dart leg to the side like this. So we have done the waist shaping for the back. The back is now complete. So while cutting out, we'll be cutting out like this. The back is complete. Now let's move over to the front. For the front also, for the dart intake, you measure the same way you measured for the back. Flip it over and mark our midpoints. We have our midpoint here. We will now a part of the video did not record while I was doing the front dart intake, so I'll take it again so that you understand exactly what I did. It stopped recording at the point where I marked the point where we want to insert our dart leg, right? So after marking this, I went down by 5.5. If you can remember, for the back I did 6.5. For the front I did 5.5. Now the front dart is usually shorter than the back dart. However, you can decide not to even use this dart at all. You can eliminate the dart. So me placing the dart on this pattern is for formality's sake, okay? It's because that's the standard for drafting the pattern. And also, someone might want to just use the dart, right? So that's the reason why I'm showing you. If I'm working with this pattern paper, in most cases, I don't use the dart. If I want to sew with my pattern, with this particular pattern, I close the dart before sewing, right? But if I'm using the dart, the length of the front dart should be shorter than the length of the back dart. So I marked 5.5 here. As usual, I confirmed if the line is straight, okay, and then I did my dart intake, half an inch here, half an inch here, and I linked. For this dart leg, I linked it to the side. Remember, we went in by half an inch from this side. We went up by half an inch from this waistline. So this is the point I linked to this dart leg, just like I did for the back. Then for the front now, for the center front, I dropped the center front down by 1 inch, okay? Can you see? I came down by 1 inch from the center front for the front waist shaping. And then I linked back to this other dart leg. So I think that was the part that was omitted. For the back, there is no need to drop down anything for the center back. So the center back remains the same, while the center front was dropped down by 1 inch. So our pattern is basically ready. This is how to draft your basic skirt, basic pencil skirt pattern. If you have learned anything from this video, please give the video a thumbs up, drop your comments, like and share the video. Okay, and also subscribe to the channel if you want me to be dropping more useful and interesting videos. However, I want to cut out this skirt pattern so that by the time you are drafting yours, you know exactly, or you understand exactly what we did. Okay, can you see what I'm cutting? So you cut out like this, and then like this. Continue the cutting. We have cut out our front pattern, and this is it. For the back, let's continue. So our back pattern is also complete. Okay, so back, center back, CB, front. Our patterns are complete. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.